So in the last video we saw how if else selection structure made life simpler than using a nested if else structure by providing like simple code for selecting various paths from like a decision variable. Now there's another selection structure, the case selection structure, also known as the select case structure, where which is kind of similar to the if else structure, but it is actually simpler, clearer, and is more flexible than that structure. And it's used where there are many paths from which to choose, like several different outcomes by looking at a variable or what is inside an input variable. The only thing to mention here is that it only works for it can only look at one variable at a time. So if you use a case structure, you can only look at a single variable, and based on what is inside that variable can you display some sort of output. So as an example, we use the same application we just talked about. So displaying grade comments based on grade received by your user. This is the flow diagram on the bottom right. So the user inputs the grade, and based on what they input, we can display several different stuff. And the syntax, or the way to write the code, is it uses or it begins with the select case statement and ends with an end select statement. I think it's better to go ahead and look at an example. So here's examples of the if else structure on the left, and on the right the same application but using a select case statement. So it starts off the same way, defining the string grade, assigning whatever is in the grade text box to grade, and the text box text is first converted to an uppercase and then assigned to grade, to avoid any sort of errors due to lowercase or any other stuff. And now then it goes to the select case, and basically after select case it looks at the variable defined or not defined, which is stated. So it looks at grade, which is after select case, and what's inside grade, and based on that it matches up with several different cases, and then gives this output. So if A is inside grade, then output excellent; if B, output above average; if C, average; if D or F, below average. And in the case of which none of these are inside A, then it goes to case else and displays an error. Now the interesting thing here is that you can put a comma between two different, in one single case you can try to look at two or more different cases, and if they're the same, if they give the same output, you can do that. An example is the D comma F. So in case it's D or F, you can output below average, and it could have been more cases or options really, and this gives us a lot of flexibility. So here, other than just a comma, we can have other ways of doing the same thing for several different types of cases. So example here is that so this is a price chart. So if you order 1 to 5 items, the price per item is 25. If it's 6 to 10, 23. If more than 10, 20. And you can use the select case statement for this. since it has several different options you can try. So after you have defined your variables and converted the text box text to integers, look at this select case statement. So it looks at number ordered variable, and for the first case, like from case, it looks at if the number inside the number ordered variable is between 1 to 5. And if it is, so if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, then the item price is 25. If it's 6 to 10, then it's 23. um, so you can kind of define almost any numeric range, and if it's within that, you can and if within that if has same output, then you can use stuff like this. And you can also use this for string in some cases. So but that generally has to have like only one string. So suppose if like for grade, if you wanted, from A to F or A to D, if the grade is A to D, then your pass. So that's an example. So you can do that and it would work as you expect. um, yeah. And so coming back, so there's you can also use comparison operators like greater than, less than, greater than, equals to, less than, equals to, and that's what's happening here. So if case is less than or greater than 10, then output item price equals 20, or assign 20 to item price basically. And so I mean, using that, you can have a single-ended case or single-ended range for the case. So greater than 10 minus or is less than 0 or less than equals to 4, anything really. So this gives us a lot of flexibility or a lot of options to write some simple codes for cases or applications where, depending on whatever is inside a variable, you can have a lot of outcomes. The only limitation here is that you can only look at one variable for one case statement. So you cannot look at multiple variables and decide your outcomes. But it really gives us a lot of choices, or nice choices, or ways to do our applications.